Like I said, I've got some new songs. I'll be releasing a record. I haven't announced the release date yet, but it's June 16th, and I'll be releasing a record that I wrote during a really dark, confusing time in my life. All of us went through a dark, confusing time in our lives during COVID, and this record is my little COVID baby. And yeah, I also acquired a COVID dog as well, who's also my COVID baby. But you know, it was a really dark time for me, and I think for a lot of us. But I felt like I was kind of having to come to terms with death and what that meant, because you know, it was one of those things where you're going, am I going to die from this? And is everyone I love going to die from this? And at the same time, I also had, my father was really ill at the time as well, so I felt like it was one of those things I was really having to sort of come to terms with. And I think it's actually a really healthy thing to do that, but it can be a bit difficult to come to terms with death. And for me, I realized at some point that, you know, there's beauty in it, and that if something did happen to me, whether it was COVID or not, that I would want people to remember me in a beautiful way. And so anyways, I ended up writing this song right at the very front end of COVID. I wrote this song with my friend Greg Barnhill. We also wrote a song called Parchment together, and Greg and I got together, and we had to sit very far away from each other in the room together, and we were like, you know, I have no idea what's going to happen next, because this was about March of 2020, and we ended up writing this song together, and it's on my new record. It's called Beautiful Oblivion. have any of y'all seen me play before? Some of y'all have seen me play before? A couple of you? Okay. Well, for those who haven't seen me play before, if you came tonight to hear love songs, you won't hear any at all. But I do have this one song that's in a major key, and it has the word love in it, right there in the title even. So if you close your eyes and just don't really listen, you might think it could be a love song. I kind of, truthfully, I wrote this song as a joke. And whenever it came time to, that's not the key you like it in, is it? No, it's fine. I know you don't like this key. You like it up one, no, down one. Yeah. Gus runs the show, as you can see. He's like, no, I don't like that key.
I like that key.
Anyways, I wrote this song kind of as a joke, and when it came time to record my record, Gold Rush, I had this pile of demos of songs that I sent to the producers, and this one was not one that I was ever considering recording at all. And of course I got an email back that was like, okay, these are the songs that we really like. And I said, oh, I don't know about that one. That one's not really supposed to be in the pile. And I got a message back that said, if we don't do this song, I'm not doing the record. And I said, fine. The producer is a really big Springsteen fan, so he was like, I'm going to do this song like a Springsteen song. I was very skeptical, and I still hoped that it would get cut off of the final lineup. But when we recorded it, you know, I thought, okay, that song, it's all right. It sounds pretty good. And it ended up being one of my favorite songs on the record, actually, but the song all started as a joke. It's called Love Shouldn't Hurt So Bad.
Every night, chasing ghosts around this town. I see all the right words at the wrong time. I'm always standing on the outside. Won't somebody take me home? Call me a victim of the game. Call me a casualty of love. They say you gotta learn to crawl before you ever run at all. So come on, baby, take me home. So bad. Oh, just so bad. Oh,
to the ghosts and murders. That's enough happy stuff. So one of my favorite things to do in my spare time is to write songs for horror films and video games and things like that. I really love to do that. That's kind of a source of inspiration for me, is watching a TV show or watching a movie and thinking, okay, what would I write for that scene? And at some point I got a script for a movie my song plugger sent me. And they were looking for a song that had really specific words and imagery in it. So it had words like Heaven's Gate and angels and save and those kind of things. And it was really interesting because that's not always how it is whenever I write a song for film and TV. Sometimes they just give you the scene and they say, we want something that sounds a little like this song. But for this particular song, they had real clear instructions on it. And so I sat down and wrote this song and ended up really liking this song, so I put it as a bonus track on my first record that I did. And then I revisited it actually whenever I did my live record, and I had my friends the Black Feathers sing on it, and we kind of reimagined the song. But anyways, this is one I've always liked, and it's called Save Yourself.
Save yourself. Darkness falls and spirits rise. I'll meet you in the sky. We'll be angels sitting on heaven's shelf. Save yourself, save yourself. Don't stop running, don't wait on no one else, 'cause there's no one else now but you. Shadows dance on the walls. Their voices call, don't answer them. Don't stop running, don't wait on no one else, 'cause there's no one else now but you. Demons wait outside of heaven's gate. Your hands will shake, don't hesitate. Send them straight to hell. Oh, save yourself, save yourself. Don't stop running, don't wait on no one else, 'cause there's no one else now but you. Save yourself, don't stop running, wait on no one else, 'cause there's no one else now but you.
Have any of y'all been watching The Last of Us? Have y'all seen that show at all? Yes. Nobody's seen The Last of Us. You've seen one of you. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about that show. But anyways, I think that song needs to be on one of those episodes. I feel like it's got to be at the end because all of the songs on there are like that, you know. And it's like I've got to find the musical director that does that show. I'm like, I have a song for you. I grew up really conservative Christian. So it's very fundamentalist religion. I grew up very deep south down in Alabama, but moved to Nashville, Tennessee whenever I was 16. But I've lived in the South my whole life. And I grew up in a religion called Church of Christ, which is really, really conservative. Like my cousins never even kissed their husbands before they got married. And there was no dancing at all in my school, so I went to Church of Christ schools, so there were no proms or school dances or homecomings or any of those kind of things. Do y'all have that here in Sweden? Do y'all have those?
Pingst, maybe.
Pingst.
I'm not a fan.
You didn't strike me as the school dance kind of guy anyways, but you know, that's a really, like, you know, traditional thing in the States is that you have dances, like school dances and things, and we never had that. But also in the church that I grew up in, there was no music, so it was all a cappella singing, which was really good for my musical ear, actually. That's why when you listen to a lot of my songs, they've got a lot of harmonies and things like that, and they probably sound a little bit like religious songs in some kind of way because I grew up listening to that, but there was no music at all, so it was all harmony singing. And so I was born and bred into the blood of Jesus, you know, and so I totally whipped by the Bible Belt. And my grandfather was a Church of Christ preacher, so I was talking to my friend Jason Charles Miller, who was the lead singer of a big metal band back in the early 2000s named Godhead. And I said, Jason, you know, I would like to write a song about my grandfather. He said, okay, what do you want to write it about? And I said, well, murder, of course. And he said, okay, who are we going to murder? I said, well, that's not the important thing, actually. The important thing is that in this story, my grandfather and I are going to murder somebody, and then we're going to bury the body on a Saturday night. And he's going to go to church on Sunday with the dirt still underneath his fingernails and preach. Because I thought, that'll be a nice subtle metaphor for how I feel about the Church of Christ, you know? And my mom doesn't think it was that subtle at all. But nonetheless, I put it on a 7-inch that I recorded, and I released it on a Swedish metal label. And then they said, well, hey, do you have anything else you'd like to release? And I said, yeah, because it was during COVID. I didn't have, you know, we weren't recording or anything. I said, yeah, I've got a live record I'd like to release. So I released a live record on a Swedish metal label. And now I've got a new record coming out in a few months on a Swedish metal label. So you can go home and tell all your friends and family that you saw a Swedish metal show tonight at Droskan, and it would be true. It wouldn't be a lie at all. So here's a metal song for you, a murder song.